Welcome into the Big East Fall Sports Update. I'm Megan Caffrey, joined alongside John Fanta. Big East teams are about halfway through with conference play. Women's soccer already 5 games in. Men's soccer will have their 5th conference matches this weekend. John, with all of the teams, men's soccer, women's soccer, volleyball, field hockey, who has surprised you the most so far this season?
I love what Toby Renz has done with Georgetown volleyball. The Hoyas are off to a 5-2 start to Big East play, Megan, in 3rd place. So that's a really impressive job for the Hoyas. That is the best that they've played thus far since conference realignment. So Georgetown volleyball behind Creighton and Marquette. I know that they headline the league, but that has been a really nice story as they are in the 3 slot.
We're going to talk about Creighton and Marquette volleyball a little later, specifically Creighton's Jaylee Winters. We'll also have an interview with Providence's Gilles Santos coming up a little later. But first, John, let's go to our top 5 plays.
Let's do it. Best time of the week. And we start with those Providence Friars. Colin Miller is a lockdown goalkeeper, and he was stopping everything in his sights. Take a look at that save, the athleticism on display at number 5.
At number 4, Georgetown Creighton women's soccer junior forward Paula Germino-Watnick. 18 yards out. Hoyas take down Creighton 7-1.
Man, are the Hoyas a machine. Speaking of machines, Taryn Clothes, another. The outside hitter for Creighton, just on fire. And you're watching this Blue Jays team just keep on delivering. She comes in at number 3.
At number 2, back to the pitch, Xavier Villanova men's soccer redshirt junior forward Samson Sergi. His 3rd goal of the season. Xavier shuts out Villanova 1-0.
At number 1, St. John's women's soccer. Putting her on skates, Zani Kajan. That is nasty.
The footwork.
I mean, my goodness gracious. That is just, that's like when you see on the basketball court handles, that right there in soccer, complete juke out move by Kajan, who has been such an integral part of what Ian Stone's St. John's Red Storm are doing. And we're going to talk about them in a few moments because they are on a bit of a roll here lately.
They definitely are. And also who's on a roll? Well, Creighton women's volleyball, they're undefeated in conference play. And the big story from this past weekend was Creighton's Jaylee Winters, John. She made a record. She had a record-setting weekend. She broke the school record for kills. And in the process, she set a new program record with 1,623 kills.
This is exceptional. Jaylee Winters has been absolutely outstanding. You run out of superlatives to talk about how good she's been for Creighton. And this is for a team that has several good, talented pieces, that has several outside hitters that can get it done. And Jaylee Winters, what she's done throughout her career, I mean, you cannot say enough about how talented this player is. And, wow, congratulations to Jaylee on the kills record because the fact is she's going to keep building on it. She's still got a lot more volleyball to play this season.
Oh, 100%. 78 school records in her career. And, John, she broke that kills record. That record had stood for 13 years before Jaylee broke it. So it just speaks to how dominant she's able to be alongside really talented other hitters on her team as well. And she's able to move the ball around too, which says a lot for her play as well.
It's really something. This is the kind of team that has the depth. You have to worry about Winters. You have to worry about Cloth. It doesn't end with the Blue Jays as we look at Big East volleyball, and it's about Creighton and Marquette at the top. We know that Creighton took that first match between the two in sweep fashion, but coming up later this month, October 26th, they'll do battle again on the Big East Digital Network at Marquette. That'll be a lot of fun. What stands out to you?
I think what stands out to me is just you look at them right next to one another, and they're so incredibly similar. So you know that now Marquette is coming in. They have that fire behind them. Creighton's the only loss in their conference schedule, so they're coming in. They have the home court advantage this time. So you're looking, what is going to change this time around a little bit? And I mean, after the win that Creighton had against St. John's, head coach Kirsten Bernthal-Booth said the rest of this schedule is a dogfight. So she knows what her team is going to have coming up for them the rest of this year. So it's going to be fun to see it play out.
This is a lot of fun. Anytime you can see two heavyweights go up against each other, especially before the postseason, the chapters of this Creighton-Marquette rivalry are really, really special in the Big East Conference.
You know who else is special in the Big East Conference, John? Well, Georgetown women's soccer. They're also having a really great start to the season as well. They're unbeaten in conference play, and they are just...
I think great might be an understatement. I mean, come on. This team is unbelievable.
Yeah, look, 5-0, 15 points. They're 5 points ahead of second place Butler Bulldogs. And then, John, you look at the standings, and you have 7 points, 7 points, 7 points. 4 teams tied with 7 points. So what stands out to you the most when you're looking at the middle of the pack women's soccer teams?
The Villanova Wildcats. Chris McClain, in his second year at the helm, has the Wildcats at number 3 in the conference right now, and they're going to play a factor in the postseason. They missed the Big East tournament last year. They've really been an afterthought in Big East women's soccer in previous years. He's gotten this program back on track. And then how about this? How the heck do you dissect the middle of this league right now? Providence, Xavier, DePaul, and St. John's. It is going to be a fascinating fight to the finish in terms of seeding and how things work out. As we look at the Musketeers, they got their first win over DePaul in program history this past weekend.
And they did it in dramatic fashion, John. 3-2 in double overtime. It just says that they're kind of peaking at that right point, as you want to say, in conference play. A really exciting win for them, and that has to give the program a lot of confidence.
It does, and especially when you do it on the road, and it's tough to outscore DePaul. They had to do that in this match, and they did just that. Let's look at St. John's, though. We were just talking about it. Zani Kajan leads this effort.
And they beat second place Butler, John, so that's saying a lot that they come in. They are at home for this, but they're able to beat the second place team in the Big East.
This goal, again, I can't get enough of it. Could watch it on repeat because it's just exceptional soccer. I'm sure Ian Stone has got to love it.
I think I could do as many drills at the gym as I want to do with ladder work, but my footwork would never be as good as that right there.
That's right. I mean, I don't think any of ours would. These two teams, 2-2-1, and appear to be hitting their stride at the right time. St. John's can stay on that roll on Saturday. You think if they can get past Seton Hall, then that's a huge Thursday night match against Villanova that'll be looming for them.
What do you see in that match that really stands out to you when you look at the two teams?
Well, I think Villanova's got a more explosive style of soccer under Chris McClain. They're going to try to beat you offensively. He's not the type of coach that's going to play back. I mean, talking to Coach McClain, he comes from Ohio State. And in his second year at Villanova, he's changed up the culture and changed up the way they play. So St. John's is defensively sound. Can they contain Villanova on the attack? That'll be the key to that matchup.
And I think the question in men's soccer, as we turn to men's soccer right now, is who can contain Creighton men's soccer? They're at the top of the league again this week after their win over St. John's this past weekend. That at that point was the battle of the top two teams in the Big East. And then look at that movement in men's soccer standings after this past weekend.
Well, you were at Belson Stadium Saturday night.
Yes.
And I know that it was 10-on-9. They're down the stretch for Creighton, and they're on top. But, Megan, you know this. Belson Stadium is not an easy place to go and win.
No, it's not. And it was proof in the match itself. St. John's was the first to score. But what happened was Creighton answered. And they answered with 3 unanswered goals. They were able to regather themselves and really just show how powerful they are.
No doubt about it. To come back from an early hole and be able to tie things up. And then right here, this is what Creighton does. They're persistent in the box. They've gotten a couple of goals just like this season, and I was very impressed with the way that they handled business at St. John's after falling behind early. They're going to keep coming at you, and this team is just complete right now. It's why they're top 10 in the country. And
that is one thing that's true. When I was watching the two teams play out on Saturday, Creighton did look complete. Their defense was all there, their offense, and then, of course, their goaltending as well was really great to watch, too.
Did you grab a New York slice after the match?
I did not. I wish I could say that I did.
Drove back to Jersey?
I drove back to Jersey. I should have just grabbed. They did have pizza actually in the media room, and I dropped the ball on that. I think when I got there it was a little bit cold, so I wasn't sure. But I love cold pizza in the morning. I think I'm weird for liking cold pizza in the morning. Yeah. Some people say it's the weirdest thing
I wonder
ever.
if cold pizza still gets advertising when we bring up their name. Like the 2000s ESPN2 show.
Yeah.
Jake Crawford's in Cleveland now, sitting on his couch. Let's move on.
Well, we will move on. Let's move on to my interview with the Big East Freshman of the Week, Providence's Gil Santos. Welcome into the Fall Sports Update, Providence forward and the Big East Freshman of the Week, Gil Santos. Gil, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
In your team's win over Marquette on Saturday, you scored the game-winning goal to make it 1-0. In the 90th minute, Serrano passed in the free kick and you were able to head it in. How did that play develop that allowed you to head it in?
First of all, it was a long ball by our team, and I remember I won the fall against center back. Then we knew that was like the last play of the game probably, so we kind of wanted to be like to waste all the seconds, so we didn't have to get a counter or something like that. So I was alone inside the area, nobody was marking me, so I made the sign to Serrano. He crossed, and once I saw the ball, I just had it to the goal, and I just saw it and went back into the nets and celebrate.
Your team has now won 3 consecutive Big East games. You're sitting at second place in conference standings. How is this team developing in conference play?
I think was a big difference between like outside the conference and inside, because we gained a lot of confidence and we played a lot better. Our game is pretty much, I think we are one of the best teams in terms of football, because we really know how to play, and it's a really big difference.
How have you felt that your confidence has developed?
A lot too, because obviously the team playing better just helped me, and like it's like really a team job, because if the team doesn't play well, it's hard for me to play well too. So it's pretty much it.
Your team's on the road for your next 3 games. What is the mindset going into road games?
I think like when you play out in the road, like it's harder, but you have to have the mindset of like we won at your house, but you need to go in the road and make a good show a good game and play better than at home, because we are hungry and we need to win, right?
You're also from Portugal. I assume you miss home a little bit. What's your favorite food from Portugal that you wish you had here in the United States?
Actually, one of my favorite foods I normally make here in college, so I don't miss it that much.
What is it?
It's like a type of chicken with rice and stuff, so it's not that hard to make.
So you get a little bit of home here, right?
Yeah.
You're one of 4 players from Portugal on the team. What's your relationship like between one another?
We are really close, obviously, and my roommate, he's from Portugal too. We are best friends like for 6 years. We played together in Portugal, and he could not play this year, but he's a really good player too. And I think the Portuguese here, we play an important role on the team, but all the team likes us, and we are not a group apart, and that's great.
Gil, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for this opportunity.
I think my biggest takeaway from that conversation with Gil was his confidence, not only in his team, but in himself too. He's a Big East Freshman of the Week. He's had that confidence build throughout him this entire season.
And his confidence in his ability to make chicken and rice.
I mean, we should probably get him a New York slice at some point. Send it out to him.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. They got some good stuff in Providence, but I thought he was very at ease. Mm-hmm. You know, he's definitely transitioned well to America and what he was talking about. So a big part of the Friars, what they're doing.
Definitely. Now let's take a look at what are some of the games that we have to look forward to this coming weekend.
What I have my eyes on this weekend, Sam Lopes and the Providence Friars, they got Georgetown last year in Friartown. Well, this time Providence has to go to Georgetown. Watch out for this matchup, because the Friars know how to hold their own. They were challenged in non-conference play. Played Duke, played North Carolina. Providence, they're no stranger to tough matchups. So I watch out for that match. What do you like?
I'm liking Creighton Xavier men's soccer, John. Creighton, obviously, as we addressed, they're at the top of the standings. But I think when we look at Creighton, they're playing Georgetown. Excuse me, they're playing Xavier. So I think, you know, they're going into more. They had that target on their back. Everyone is coming in there playing their best soccer against Creighton.
There's 3 teams as well that have big weekends. I'm going to point out right now in BE football. Seton Hall hosting Providence Friday night. And then Marquette and DePaul are also sort of in the picture in the back half of the standings. Like, these are the teams that are going to try to contend for those 5 and 6 slots in the Big East tournament. So I'm intrigued to see, like, Providence has showed us strides, Megan. Now can they show us that they're top 3 in the conference? Can they solidify themselves? Friday, road test at Seton Hall. Seton Hall's previous home game against Marquette, we were there, and they won in commanding fashion. So let's see the new look Pirates against a Friars team that's ready to have a surge. That's a big matchup Friday night.
And I think what's interesting is we always talk about how hard it is to get 3 points on the road in conference play,
Very
but
much
how
so.
important it is when you're at home to get those 3 points in conference play.
It is so important. Those home games, you have to treasure them. The road games, they're house money. Okay, they're an added bonus. You gotta get it done at home, and if you can, then you're going to be in really good shape for the postseason.
Well, we have a lot to look forward to this weekend.
We do, and just 2 weeks away from the Big East Cross Country Championship.
Can you believe it?
I think Matt Schumacher's already running.
he's going to make it there and break a cold sweat.
Yeah, you should just run over there. Our producer Ujash Patel is going to run from New York.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Heck
Do
yeah.
a little interview while running.
That would be good. We got to do it. I'm revved up for that. Yeah.
Me as well. We can't wait to see you next week on the Fall Sports Update. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.